Hello, welcome to the Better and Longer podcast. I'm Justin Moore, President and CEO of the Area Office on Aging. Our podcast is all about helping those age 60 and better with living better and longer. We are very honored today to have with us the longest serving Congresswoman of all time, Congresswoman Marcy Kaptur. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you. It's a pleasure. I still haven't beat some of the guys, but we're working on it.
If you today could speak some words of wisdom to that young lady 40 plus years ago that was walking into Congress for the first time, what words of wisdom would you have for her?
My words of wisdom would be, know the place you're representing very well. I was given that gift before I got there because this is our home community, and I worked in it for many years. Know the raw clay you're working with. Know the people. As a city planner, you get into every neighborhood, into every borough. So I was given that gift. So know the place you're representing and never forget it. Don't get all distracted by everything else that goes on in Washington. Number two, pick your committees very carefully. Look at what your strengths are and what the needs of your community are, and see if you can juxtapose those. I first went on a committee that's now called Financial Services. That's a whole nother story. But I got on appropriations. That's where I could really do something for our community in the country, and I am. Then take some time, get to know some of the members on your committee. You have to start on your committee and subcommittees. Do a good job, even if you don't get the committee you want right away. It took me 12 years to get the committee I really wanted. Okay, you can't give up. You got to persevere. And in Congress, that is the key word. Underline, persevere. 435 people in the House, and in the Senate, 535 people who have to get a majority to do anything in the country. So I said to one high school class, think about that. I'm 535th, and sometimes it's really frustrating. And this young student in the front row out of Springfield High School said to me, that's okay, Congresswoman. That's better than being 340 millionth. And I thought, I learned from my constituents every day of all ages. Wasn't that a clever statement by that student? So know your community, pick your committees carefully, persevere on them as time goes on, and bring home the results of your work. If your people don't benefit, it's not worth being there. Go get another job.
What parting words do you have for our listeners today that we have not covered? Something that you feel really passionate about and really think is beneficial to share with our listeners today?
Well, first of all, happy Mother's Day, happy Grandmother's Day, happy Great-Grandmother's Day. To all fathers, happy Father's Day, happy Grandfather's Day, and happy Great-Grandfather's Day, which will be coming up in June. Never underestimate the power of your family. Your relatives, extended relatives, one of the things that's happened to America is our families have, because of the job market of the last 30 years, 35 years, our people have been scattered. And that is, in my opinion, harmful to the republic. I'm watching people flying everywhere to be with their grandparents. I just flew back on the plane with a woman whose grandchildren are in Virginia, and she lives in Ottawa Hills. Stay in touch with them. The most important lessons I learned in my life, I learned from my family and through my family. And they walk with me every day. My neighbors, the places, the people who were so kind, our teachers. Teachers never undervalue those personal relationships with adults who can teach you and guide you. And I would encourage people who are 60 or asking 60 and over, don't ever underestimate the influence you can have on a child. In this community, and it's repeated across our country, here in Toledo region, we have between 2,000 and 4,000 children who have no home to go to. They're homeless, they're rootless, they come to the schools, but if you can befriend a child who's lonely and help them learn how to read, you'll go to heaven. If you have time to figure out a way to work with some of these forgotten children, or children who feel that they're not as good because maybe they get a B rather than an A, well, you know what? Help them know their worth. Teach them something. Teach them something you know. Baking cookies with children, you think that's simple? That's a big deal. There's this one drawing I have, Safe and Sound in My Grandmother's Kitchen. Don't ever underestimate that. So I'm just saying, know your worth. Thank you so very much for being such kind people. We live in a kind community. In D.C., if I come out of a gas station in my car, I got to stop because they'd run me over, right? Here, once in a while, people will stop so you can get out. They don't even know it's me, right? They don't know I'm a congresswoman. There's something here that's very good we mustn't lose.
I agree. Congresswoman Marcy Kaptur, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for your words of wisdom, the inspiration to our listeners, and for all your service. Thank you so much for being with us here today.
Thank you. Just thank you for your service in the Area Office on Aging. It's the best one in the United States of America.
Listeners, thank you for joining us today on the Better and Longer podcast. We hope that you will continue to live better and longer. Thank you.